Don't empty the whole bottle on one plant, it will die. Wow, you didn't joke, eh? Full house.
We were worried. I think we're going to have some more people in there.
Oh yeah, all backward.
Thanks, Ben.
So glad I printed out extra papers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome this afternoon. Thank you for the wonderful attendance. We were actually very overwhelmed with the numbers.
So I recommend that you all invest in a good scissor, and that we sell these are the ones we use on the farm. They're only $1.25. There's yellow ones as well. I think they're a little bit more expensive. Just please keep in mind they are horrendously sharp. They can cut through bone, but they are absolutely wonderful. So what you're going to do now, look here, can you guys see the rot? So this is a plant that's gone to a supermarket and has come back, and this is the long-term effects. And the problem is we can't see what is inside the pot, even if you sometimes have a clear pot. So I'm just going to take half out and then I can explain to you. So the most important thing is you remove all this gunk, and you're going to see how little roots I've got left. So there is one, but look how was damaged. Do you see? There, look how dry it is. See, and this is the sad thing about the root structure. Nature nipping away. Do you see there? I've got a break. Can everybody see the break? Look how rotten that is. Can you see? So what you do is you go as far up as possible and then remove and cut and remove. So you work it through. This is lovely with a lovely cup of tea. Those that drink glass of wine, you know what I'm talking about. You just sit and you clean as far as possible. And sometimes you will even smell that it smells quite disgusting. So yeah, do you see? Now I want to teach you something. This is a system I developed for Marvellous Orchid. This is hydrogen peroxide, 20%. You can buy it at the pharmacy. Wear gloves, it stings. What is amazing about hydrogen peroxide, it does not attack any healthy parts of your plant. It will look out. Do you remember when we were young? We all got hydrogen peroxide when you got a wound. We don't use it anymore because it scars you. But when it comes to your orchid's gonna love you. So what we do is, with great gusto, you start adding some of this, and you're gonna always make your bottle close because it evaporates. Now, do you guys want to stand closer? Can you hear it? It will sizzle. Yeah, but yeah, if you don't see black, you can see here, I've got black on this crown. Yeah, if your plant is healthy, you're not going to do this. Yeah, you're not even going to bother. So when you take your tweezer now, oh, that's went there. You will see, you see this little loose filaments and leaves. Look how easy they now remove. You can almost, in some cases, look there, you can see how it's foaming there. So my tweezer enables me to remove, and in some cases you can even scrape the rot away. Does it make sense? So it's a wonderful way to make sure that, especially like this one, it's got a few roots, we can see that there's been damage done on the crown. To save the crown, this is your first step. So can you see here? Can you see how easily I can peel all of that away? And in some cases, when there's severe rot, like I said, it shows you because it's boiled. Now I know I need to go back there. That's rotten. Then I now need to show the next lot, just so I can show you. So what I do, I take my alcohol. This is a standard practice. I sterilize the whole plant, including the roots. I'm now going to clean the rest of the roots with the people. When you're done, this is the natural antibiotic, and you can use your cinnamon with all your orchids. So if there is root rot, this will stop bacterial growth. It's got a slight hydrating thing. Sorry, don't empty the whole bottle on one plant, it will die. But the nice thing is, what it's going to do is, when you put it on, except that it smells really nice, and this is the one thing the internet doesn't lie about, you can actually, if your plant is really sick and has got bacterial, that you can actually add a pinch with your water. But in general, I prefer to do that, so I do some cinnamon, and now I'm going to repot. So I'm just going to show you ever so briefly. Sorry, I just want to compost. Sorry, I'm just going to get my bag here. So always remember, if you use gravel stones, some people is lucky that they've got river rocks, or they call it crush when you go to the nurseries. Sterilize, please, just a bit of boiling water, and you'll see I put quite a lot in. Smell like vanilla, and we've got a chocolate one over there as well. Cattleyas is your next one, and Cattleyas, the Chinese has got a lovely saying. They say we buy them for our soul. They smell, they got complex smells like perfume, roses and citrus. We had one in the shop a while ago that was similar to this color, but it smelled like apricot. So then you get another one.
Sorry, Claudette,
yeah.
do you treat these ones the same as the phalaenopsis?
No. A little bit, but yeah, when it comes, the reason why we always do phalaenopsis first is it shows you how to deal with root rot. It shows you, because it's the most complex one, because their roots is different. This roots, as you can see, is very thin. Oncidium, Cattleya and Dendrobium is very forgiving. So even if they had the rot that plant had, which that plant has got sort of a 60-65% chance of survival, this one will make it. But the reason why I want to talk to you, I want to introduce these species, so there's courses on them. They are wonderful, and a lot of people in Johannesburg will grow them outside. You guys got a bit of a problem with the frost, but there's ways to overcome them. Dendrobiums are prolific growers, and they're prolific keiki makers. So this is a keiki. So the reason why Dendrobium makes keikis, and they make a lot of keikis, is either I got too little light, and you can see this because their color should normally be a grass green. So they grow everywhere, and this is also one of the 50 Chinese medicines. So please don't go and think you can take a Nobulus and distill it and get your blood pressure down. You possibly will end up in hospital. The Americans now got onto the bandwagon, and a lot of people died. They put it in a sports drink. But in China, this means that the Dendrobiums, it's not this variety, is actually highly, highly endangered. And there's a lot of programs. But just to give you an idea, they started with a program to grow Dendrobiums. Last year alone, they harvested 630,000 tons of Dendrobium, because they do use the leaves, they use them in tea, and it is for everything from blood pressure down to whatever. So Dendrobiums comes from the Far East, and a lot of them actually comes from the foot of the Himalayas. So this is a very good plant for you that is on this side of the world. They're cold growing. They need the cold. Remember, like I said, with Phalaenopsis, I need the cold, I need to feel it. When your plant is healthy and it's got nice thick canes, not this is still a baby, then what you're going to do is you're going to, when those nights get cold in April, 3 weeks, no water, no feed. They've got an active rest period. And now this is what I need to explain. Do you see this stalk? That's a bulb. It's called a pseudobulb. When you look at this, do you see this? You can see it's got a bulb. This is an oncidium. It's got this thick bulb over here. This Cattleya, this thick stem, is also a bulb. It's called a pseudo bulb. Any bulb above ground, you all know tulips and things, bulb is below ground. Above ground is called a pseudo bulb. So the nice thing about them, they are incredibly resilient. So again, when you go on holiday, you water them, you can go on holiday. They like higher humidities. So I am from South America. So I always say South America, the highest humidity that you can, and they can tolerate higher temperatures as well. But your oncidiums, interesting enough, also from South America, although they're grown worldwide now, but a lot of the ones, especially the nice smelling ones, they come from places like Peru, very high altitude. Again, cold growing. It works on this, I call it the rule of 4. So you got a great grandmother, you got the grandmother, the mother and the child. It normally blooms on the mother. And if you come and look closer, you will see we normally have a minimum of 4. When you try and be kind and you start breaking up bulbs because you want to give your friend one, and this is what we see constantly, especially with cymbidiums. People go and they give their friend one bulb. It's not going to survive. The chances are so little. The reason why is that great-grandmother, and you'll see here, there's quite a few here, that looks old and it doesn't look, but as long as they're firm, they stay. Don't ever remove a bulb if it doesn't come away naturally in your hand. So that great-grandmother, if you remove her because you think she's ugly, your plant's not going to bloom. She's the one, she's the matriarch, and this is the simplest way to explain it. She tells the rest of the plant, when are you going to bloom? What genetics is going to be given through? But she gives the strength until she can't anymore, and then it will go to the next one. So this is your little tip for those that do need to repot. So how do you repot? And you can see the problem. You take the oldest bulb in your pot and you put it against your tummy. Yeah, right here. It grows, it's got what we call a rhizome, and you can see it very clearly normally on Cattleyas, because this is the thing about all of them, I grow in one way. So it's not a garden plant which I go and put in the middle of a pot, never. You put it against the side, the oldest way, so that it's got all this way. Those of you that's got cymbidiums, how many do you have got? Where this poor plant doesn't bloom because everything is sitting on the edge, but the rest of the pot is where the old bulbs go. It will never grow backwards. It might grow sideways and it will go forward, but where the old bulbs is never going to go there. So that's your tip for the day, and then hopefully I'll see you with the next courses.